Kate Dugdale, and I'm the Education and Interpretation Coordinator here at the National Nordic Museum. Today we'll be celebrating Syttende Mai and also practicing some art skills by making a collage style Norwegian flag like this. Your typical Syttende Mai parade will feature a lot of Norwegian flags, so this is another way to help celebrate that. And the flag of Norway is red with a white cross and then a blue smaller cross inside that white cross. Syttende Mai, or the 17th of May, celebrates the signing of the Constitution of Norway on May 17th, 1814. The 17th of May is celebrated with parades all over the world, including in many places across the United States. Here in Seattle, Syttende Mai has been celebrated since 1889, which was the year that Washington became a state. One of the largest 17th of May parades happens right here in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle. The Ballard Parade is one of the largest 17th of May celebrations outside of those in Oslo and Bergen. All you'll need for this craft is collage materials and the colors of the Norwegian flag. So I've gone with tissue paper, red, white, and blue. And I'll be using a piece of sturdy paper like cardstock, or you can also use printer paper, but I prefer sturdy paper to help put my collage on. You're also gonna want some kind of glue to make the collage. So you could use glue stick, you could use Elmer's glue. I'll be using Mod Podge because that's what I have around. You'll want some kind of way to apply your glue. So if you're using something like this, I definitely recommend a kind of foam brush so you don't get glue all over your hands. You might also want scissors or pencil. And in case you don't have this collage of the Norwegian flag in front of you, you might also want pictures of the Norwegian flag for reference. Okay, so I think I will start by drawing a rectangle on my piece of paper, just so that I remember what shape I am doing, because that can be kind of tricky with collage, is seeing the shape underneath. So just lightly drawing a rectangular shape on my paper. The next thing you're gonna do is, if you're doing exactly like me, you're gonna do a layer of red for your collage on your paper. So I'll start by tearing this red into a bunch of tiny pieces and then collaging them onto my paper. So now that I have a little pile of just torn up red tissue paper, I'm gonna start by dipping my foam brush in my glue, putting a little bit on my paper, and then I'll just kind of stick this piece of paper on like that, and maybe I'll do a layer over it to kind of seal it in. Now you can see I am collaging outside the lines here, and that is because it's really tricky to keep inside the lines with this kind of randomly torn up paper. So what I'll do at the end is I'll trim it to make it look like this, but for now I'm just gonna put them down in whatever order I choose to do that in. And the cool thing about collage is that when you are doing that, you can see that layering the tissue paper makes a different color than just a tissue paper on its own. So like on this example, it's darker here because it's two pieces of tissue paper layered, whereas here it's just the one piece of tissue paper, which I just think is pretty cool. There you go. So once you've done one layer of the red like this, you can either keep adding to it if you have more pieces like I do. I think I'm gonna leave it as it is, and I'll set it aside to dry while I get my white and blue situated. So the next layer on your Norwegian flag is white, and you see it makes this white cross like this. So you can do torn out pieces like this, or you can cut out pieces. I think I will actually do some torn out pieces for making the white cross. And the thing that's really, if you're using tissue paper, the thing that's really important to remember is that white tissue paper is very transparent, or translucent I should say. And you're gonna wanna use multiple layers to get this white kind of standing out against the red background, because otherwise it will just kind of look like lighter red. If you are doing torn out pieces like this, I would recommend doing kind of smaller pieces because you want to make sure that you stay in this kind of line formation. So kind of unlike with the red background where we could kind of go any way we wanted with it, you have kind of a line you're trying to stay in for the crosses. So small pieces are probably best. I can always tear out more later on if I want to. So now that my red background has dried a little bit, I'll start adding the white tissue paper I tore up to make that cross. So maybe I'll start up here. I'll do a little bit of glue. Just do a little bit white on top of that. So you can see what I mean here, where white tissue paper really shows what's underneath it well. So I'll do a few layers of the white tissue paper on top of the red so you can really see the white. So now that I've done one layer of that, I might add another piece of white here. You can see it's already looking like it stands out more against that red background, which is what I want, so it's perfect. Now that I've done a couple layers of this direction, I'm gonna do the other line going this way across the flag. So now that I've done the white layer, what looks like this, you can see the white is kind of standing out against the red. I'm gonna set this aside to dry and I'll get my blue ready to go. So the blue is this center cross in the middle of the white. It's a thinner cross. So for that one, I'm gonna rip very small pieces of my blue tissue paper. You won't need to do as much with the blue as you did with the white because the blue will really stand out against the white like that. Okay, let's start with this little pile of blue. Just a little bit of glue right in the center of my white stripes here. Add a piece of blue. Now, it's okay if it doesn't look like very straight here because I ripped it, and so it won't look like I've cut it out with scissors. But that's kind of the cool part about collage, is that it looks a little bit outside of the lines, which I think is really cool. But if you do want that cleaner look, like with this example, you can definitely cut out your tissue paper with scissors. So that's an option if you kind of want a more traditional look for your collage. It's really a personal preference. Then you have this, where you can see it looks pretty much like this one. So what I will do is I'll let this dry, and then I can cut it out into be a little rectangle like this, or I could cut it out to make it a circle, or a heart, or a star, any shape that you want to do these kind of collage flags in, you can feel free to do that. And another way, while this is drying, I want to talk about another way that you can celebrate Syttende Mai, which is with some rose malling coloring sheets that you'll find linked in the description of this video. Just make sure you press see more and you can find that link. Rose malling is a type of folk art in Norway. It's a lot of flowers like this, and you'll often find like dishes and things around the home decorated with rose malling. So what you might want to do with these, because they're round, is you could print them out at home, color them in, and then maybe like glue them or tape them to a paper plate, and then you have your own rose malling plate. Again, these are going to be linked in the description of this video. Now that it's dried off a little bit, I'll just trim this to be kind of in the shape of that rectangle that I drew on at the very beginning. But like I said, if you wanted to draw any other shape and draw, like fill it in with a collage of that shape, that sounds really fun. You could do a heart, you could do a circle, a diamond would be fun. And there you have it. Now you have your Norwegian flag collage. I hope you have a very happy Syttende Mai, and I'll see you next time.